What is up, everybody? It's Metro Game 75 here. Today we're playing Sakura Alien 2. Second one has come out. Alright, let's get started. This is the second installment to the series here. Surprised I'm uploading this video on the same day I'm posting this. Anyways, I've been obsessed with the vast and unexplored recess of space ever since I was a young boy. It was my older cousin CJ who started me on my space obsession. He's a fanatic when it comes to cosmos, and he used to take me out on camping trips in the sticks to observe the stars. CJ talked about space so passionately to me while we were sitting beneath the night sky that I found myself falling in love with it too. I couldn't help myself. CJ's about a decade older than me, 10 years, and though he's an average guy in many regards, his passion when it comes to the universe is the real deal. I think it's only natural that I get a hug on space and its many mysteries after hearing him pontificate on it so much. It's thanks to CG's early influence that I wound up enrolling at this university out in Tokyo studying physics. I'm still in my first year of degree. I've had a lot more work to do than I anticipated. I've been studying a lot since I started attending university, but that's nothing new. I've been pretty devoted. I never went to parties back in high school, and I didn't have any experience with romantic relationships or many friends. I didn't think that would change after attending university, but I was wrong. Back then, I had to bank on meeting Akasaka Hiyori. Hiyori is a fellow undergraduate at my university, though she doesn't study physics like I do. Her area of expertise is literature. She's a year older than me, which makes her senior, though she doesn't look older than I do. She doesn't act much older either. She's a physically cheerful, bubbly girl who started paying me especially attention after she learned about my passion for space. Hiyori, as I later learned, was and still is in fact the leader of the University Astronomy Club. The club was in dire straits. Since all its prior members had already graduated, Hiyori was the only member left. She was desperate to find new recruits for the club, else it would be shut down. She petitioned me to join her club for weeks on end until I eventually gave in. I wound up becoming the second member of the astronomy club, and Hiyori and I became friends. I divided my time between studies and astronomy club activities for several months, but nothing of any real note occurred to distract me from my future goals. Hiyori would often show up outside my apartment to walk me to campus to charge of my male housemates, but I never thought of much of this. It wasn't like Hiyori and I were dating. I thought she was just being friendly, albeit aggressively so. I doubt I would ever have learned of Hiyori's real feelings for me if a truly catalytic event had occurred last January. It was on a chilly winter night while Hiyori and I were stargazing on the university's rooftop that my humdrum life was turned upside down. This back in the original on my channel when I made this. But a real genuine alien from another planet who just so happened to look like a beautiful woman. This gorgeous alien introduced herself as Anna, the princess of a far-flung planet called Corvo. As a long-time admirer of earthling culture, particularly Japanese manga, Anna dreamed of escaping her dreary life of regal obligations and living like a normal human girl. One day she buckled on the street and decided to run away from home for good. She commandeered a spaceship, set its coordinates for planet Earth, and crash landed quite literally onto my lap. It sounded pretty unbelievable looking back on it, but it's all 100% true. I have no doubt in my mind that Anna really is an alien. She doesn't look that dissimilar from an ordinary human, but she's not like any other woman I've ever met before. Anna had nowhere to go after arriving on Earth, so I was obliged to take her in. She's been living with me during the last month, and she's grown incredibly attached to me. She's always referred to me as darling, and she seems determined that we'll get married one day. Anna's clinchiness was so dense that Hiyori, who'd had a crush on me for a while, quite unbeknownst to me, felt pressured into confessing to me too. Oof. Who'd been routinely ignored by female classmates back in high school, suddenly found myself being fawned over by two pretty girls. After giving matters some thought, I eventually decided to date. You know, let's go with both of them. Anna and Hiyori. I know it sounds sleazy, but I simply couldn't choose between them. They were both so earnest when they confessed to me, I would have felt guilty prioritizing one over the other. Fortunately, neither Anna nor Hiyori seemed to have any issues about this arrangement unusual, though it is. According to Anna, polygamy is fairly common on her home planet, Corvo. She finds our three-way relationship perfectly natural, and she seems more than happy to share me with Hiyori. Hiyori, meanwhile, is very fond of Anna, and I think she enjoys being intimidated with both of us. Our relationship has strengthened over the last month, and things seem to have been going very well. It might have been illegal to marry both of them, not in Japan at least, but I'm still too young to worry about such things, you know. I could cross that bridge when I get to it. Despite Anna's insistence that we schedule our wedding as soon as possible, I'm cautiously optimistic to see how things shake out, and I can't wait to spend more time with both Anna and Hiyori. Though my life took an unexpected detour, I'm happy with how things are going. Meeting Anna was an eye-opening experience, and I'm glad to know that intelligence life really does exist beyond the boundaries of our solar system. Spending time with her can be anxiety-inducing, particularly when my male housemates glower at me while I was fooling too. I've been having a lot of fun, but... Darling, are you awake? Just give me a sec. I'll be up soon. Now, darling, that won't just do. You have to go to university. It would not do to be late. I know that, but, it's so cold. I want to stay beneath the covers a little longer. Oh, dear, I do so hate to be the bad guy, but... if you will not rouse yourself of your own accord, then I must do it for you. While I think you are perfect as you are, I must do all to shape you into a productive member of society. Here! Ah, darn it! My lovely covers, which were pulled over my body, are suddenly pulled away from me. My toes buried to the elements curling themselves, and I shiver. I live in a pretty cruddy apartment, and boiler always on the fritz. It's not been working probably for the last week, and my room feels colder than the Arctic tundra. It doesn't help that walls are so thin, or that there's gaps in the window pane for the wind to sneak in. I'm so cold, my teeth are starting to chatter. This must be Napoleon's Grand Army felt when they invaded Russia back in 1812. Holy crap, it's freezing! And a good morning to you too, darling. It's nice to see you so energetic. My vision blurred from sleep and glanced upwards. Now I can see the source of that mysterious voice that was speaking to me a few moments prior. And no, it doesn't come as much as surprise. Anna is kneeling in front of me, wearing one of my button-up shirts. Her long seafoam green hair spills over her shoulders, and her eyes are all alight with joy. The shirt she's wearing is buttoned, the collar loose about her neck, and I can see a sliver of her cleavage protruding from beneath its folds of fabric. Her chest is awfully large, and given she's looming over me, I have a pretty good view of it. And his body's incredible, even when festooned under an oversized shirt like mine. And that's not getting into how adorable the face is. Doesn't matter how you slice it, and it really is gorgeous. Under normal circumstances, I'd be thrilled to be woken up by such a beauty as it is. Anna, please, I'm freezing cold. Can you give me my sheets back? I'm sorry, darling, but that isn't possible. You need to get ready for university. Yeah, I figured as much. The air is so frigid inside my apartment. It's a wonder my breath doesn't hang in the air like mist. And it's definitely gorgeous, but I'm having a hard time appreciating that when she's withholding from me my one source of comfort, that she might shield me from the rotten weather. That being said, it's hard to hold a grudge against her when she's smiling at me so fearlessly. Why must the architect of my misfortune be so gosh darn cute? It isn't fair. Alright, fine, you win. I sigh again and put myself into a seated position. My hair is red black. My mind spent tossing and turning and trying to get comfortably with my covers. My eyes are still gummed together with sleep. I love the and setting, and she's still sitting on her haunches, but she's gripped tight with her neatly manicured nails. She's only wearing a button-up shirt, and there's quite a bit of her supple thighs on display. She should have even colder than I am. At least I'm wearing sweatbands, but Anna isn't shivering in the slightest. Her smile is so sunny you can see you could use it for fried or egg omelets. Are you alright, Anna? Of course I am. What a silly question. I'm better than alright, in fact, because today's yet another wonderful day that I will spend by your side. I do so love being with you, darling. I'm glad to hear that, but aren't you chilly wearing so little? You've not gotten dressed yourself yet. It's fine, your planet is colder than I am accustomed to. It is true, but we Corvins are a hardy species. A bit of frostbite is hardly enough to put you out of commission. Fortunately, staring at you sleeping face is more enough to keep my internal temperature well regulated. I feel very hot when we are together. Your presence induces within me the most curious of chemical reactions. I doubt I will ever have cause to feel wintry chills when I'm with you, darling. I love you. After all, nothing can cool my ardor. Achoo. I frown. Anna's been doing a pretty good job of being unaffected, but hails from a deserted planet with a climate that's much warmer than Earth. Plus, it is winter right now. I think the broken boiler is starting to do a number on Anna. I think her objects were coming across as touched too forceful, but that cough, since you say. Are you sure you're not cold? I am positive, darling. I am absolutely fine. Please do not worry about me. As your future wife, it is my job to believe in her about. Shoot. Yeah, now there's no doubt about it. Anna's disposition is eternally cheerful, but not even that is enough to stay me away for the worst of the weather. It's trying to tough it out, but she's ailing too. Thanks for being so considerate, but you don't need to push yourself too hard. There's no shame in being cold. I think it's being these stranger few words, giving a broken boiler in your current state of dress or lack of. Maybe you should have a quick shower. That might help. Oh no, I couldn't. I would not want to delay your commute to university, Harry. He'll be waiting for you, and your lectures are very important. And it's fine, you woke me up pretty early and you've enough time to have a shower if you're quick about it. You won't cause any delays. Well, if you're sure, of course I'm sure. And if you catching a cold, then who would wake me up in the mornings? I'd have to start relying on my alarm clock again, and that's nowhere near as pleasant a wake-up call as yours. Oh yes, you're quite right. I have been pushing myself these last few days, hoping to make your own life easier, but perhaps I'd be more concerned with your own welfare. I am not infallible after all. I would hate to cause you any concern. Then have a shower then. That'll ease my worries, Roger. And it gets to her feet and offers me a salute. I will soak every inch of my body up thoroughly until I am nice and clean and sparkling from tip to toe. It should be nice reply from the leather. Now, Anna looks at me smiling coyly. Would you care to join me, darling? You look like you could use a shower too. Oh no, it's fine. The bathroom's not really big enough. Are you certain? Anna pouts. I think the shower with you will be fun. I'm not wholly opposite to the idea myself, but it's Anna's endorsement that is the issue lies. Showering with her will be too much fun. I should be able to make it to university on time, even with Anna's intel. If she hurries to prove her morning ablutions, but if we shower simultaneously, we almost definitely lose track of time. And it's being beautiful enough wearing the oversized shirt. She looked even better naked under soap suds. You get what I mean? It's an appealing mental image. But no, I can't afford to daydream now. I'll shower this evening, so you can go ahead, ladies first and all. Well, alright. Anna doesn't look wholly convinced by my argument. I think she was hoping I'd agree to her quite frankly audacious demands, but in the end she capitulates. I'll try to be quick. I'll see you later, darling. You too, have fun. I always do when I'm thinking of you. Give me and retrieves her day-to-day food from the floor that she folded it the night prior and leaves my room. The door closes behind her with a thud, and enveloping my room in frigid silence. Anna might be gone, but her presence lingers. When I think of her, I can't help but smile. Anna showers and dress in double quick time, while I throw on my own clothes and set about gathering all the textbooks I need for the day's upcoming lectures. Anna and I then meet back up in my room. Some 15 minutes later, Anna's hair a little damp from the shower that sets off outside. I've barely taken one step out of my apartment. However, when I'm met with a cheery exclamation of, "Haru, it's good to see you. How are you doing this fine morning? It's really cold, isn't it? I hope you're wearing a lot of layers beneath your coat. I should check just to make certain you're as warm as toasty as can be." Oh Lord, she's here. My fellow Shawnee Club member, he already pounces upon me like a lioness might pounce on her prey. Though unlike Lioness, Hiyori is very soft and not at all violent. Her arm winks about mine, and smiling, she peers up at me from beneath a sweep of long eyelashes. Hiyori lives in a fancy, well-to-do residential district that, as I discovered a while back, is actually closer to university than the cruddy apartment I call home. It'd make more sense if I met up with Hiyori outside her house, but she always meet up with me out here so we can walk to university together. Hiyori is very conscientious like that, almost overly so. My housemates certainly seem to think so, because they always glower when they see me with Hiyori. Ugh, just look at him. Hiyori is one of my aforementioned housemates, relatives in the background. He must have left the apartment a little after Anna and now he's got a front row seat in Hiyori's early morning clean fest. Wasn't Hiyori enough? She's been the gaga over him from day one, and now he's managed to ensnare a babe like an Anna. Life isn't fair. Here. Another one of my housemates Daigo pipes up. Why you got two girls on the go? Haru, some of us don't even have one. Think about the rest of us before you start seducing every 18 to 21-year-old in the vicinity. The only girl who can bear to touch me is my sister, and she only ever does that to shove me to one side if I'm in the way of the TV. Went back home at the winter break, and she threw one of her shoes at me because I said her dyed hair made her look like a delinquent. My little sister isn't cute at all. She's a menace. Oh God. Goodness me. I am very sorry to hear that you do not get along with your family, Kosuke. If you ever wish to talk about your problems, you have to vent. You may vent to me. It is not helpful to remain quiet about such feelings. Oh, Anna, Kosuke snapped. You're such a good girl. You're an absolute angel. I'm not an angel as a matter of fact, but I did descend upon earth from the sky and upon one hand beneath her chin. So maybe I am like a bit of an angel after all. Yes, you are. You're amazing. Why'd you always have to hang around that jerk Haru? Always, anyway. He already has Hiyori. Look at the way she's clinging to him. You'd be much better off dating me. Or me. It's not like I care that much about getting a girlfriend, but I don't want to be upstaged by a loser like Haru. What about it, Anna? I can always make you my girl if you want. I show you a good time, and you have undivided attention. I'd never make you second best. Thank you, Daigo Koji. That is very sweet of you. I appreciate your serious, heartfelt offers, but I'm afraid I cannot take you up on them at this moment in time. Or well, in any moment of time, no matter how far ahead in the past may be. Huh? Why not? Are we good enough for you? It isn't a case of being good enough for me. I think you are all lovely in your own rights. Really? She called Kyosuke, who may have or may not have decapitated his sister's childhood stuffed animals for fun. Lovely? That's a bit of a stretch. I know Anna's the sort of to look for the best in others, but there comes a point where optimism merges into willful obtuseness. But you are not like my darling, I am afraid. Haru has stolen my heart, though not literally, thank goodness, and I cannot countenance being with any other man. He is the only one for me, and me. Ugh. Kosuke grimace. Damn it, Haru, it's not fair. What arcane art did you turn to become this popular? Tell me what demon you sold your soul to. I'm so desperate for a girlfriend, I'd do anything to land one. And I do mean anything. I'd even prepare to offer up my own trails to passing god of death. I don't know if death gods are renowned for handling matters of the heart, or, for that matter, whether they're even real. Anna is an alien, yes, but aliens are vastly more scientific than an opulent nonsense like death gods. I didn't make an effective effort to court Anna or Hiyori's feelings. It just happened. How did it happen, though? I don't get it. It's not like there's anything special about you. You're a totally ordinary guy. You're even plainer than unseasoned tofu. What do Anna and Hiyori see in you? That's a good question. It's a bit of a hard to quantify my feelings, but I guess I like Hard because he's so nice to me. Well, that's one. And I like him because he's my darling. That's two. Really? Is that all? Do I need more of a reason to like him? I guess not, no, but jeez, man. Close a face. Life is so unfair. Man, this sucks. Why can't I get a girlfriend? It really is chilly today, isn't it? I've heard it might have even snow later tonight. Not that I would have come as a huge surprise. It was snowing last night too. Did you see it, Haru, Anna? Yes, I did. I was looking out the window at all the white flakes which were falling through the sky. It was awfully pretty, but it was very cold too. I've been wearing 3 pairs of pantyhose about the apartment lately, but I still was shivering. Really? 3 whole pairs? Yeah, our boiler's not been working this last week. Again? Harry frowns. Didn't it break down last month too? It happens on a semi-regular basis. Our apartment is very cold. At least the pipes haven't shrunk a leak or started to freeze. That would be truly disastrous. Very disastrous. Anna, Hiyori, and I chatted to one another companionably while we walked down the streets. It's a piteously cold morning. If our conversation about the weather didn't make the wholly apparent, and teeth chatter with every step I take, my breath, when it escapes from lips, hovers in the air like steam from sauna. My hands are jammed deep in my pockets, but not even that can combat the worst of the cold. Hiyori gave me a few adhesive warming pads. They're stuck discreetly to my chest and back, which help a little, but my extremities are all frigid. It's a pretty miserable morning, really. It would be, at least, if it were for Anna and Hiyori, they're coming doing a lot to distract from me, for my weather's related blows. I don't understand why your landlord doesn't do anything to fix the boiler. Hiyori indigent remarks draw me out of my musings. She's scowling on my behalf, her own arms folded. Isn't it illegal to leaving you and your roommates to freeze like that? It's no wonder Kosuke and Daigo are always in such poor moods. I'd be angry too if I lived in an apartment like yours. I don't know if it's the cold that's bothered them, really. You heard what they were saying earlier. They're more hung up over my newfound success with the ladies. Ah, yes. They've never been very supportive of our friendship, have they? I feel sorry for them. Hiyori sighs. They must be awfully desperate they're pinning after my attention. I was never very popular back in high school, but my classmates always teased me. I don't think anybody would have asked me out then, save as a practical joke. You're selling yourself short. I castigate Hiyori, albeit gently. If I were concerned that my fingers would fall off, only to the bitter cold, I flick her forehead too, just for good measure. I think you're pretty, Hiyori, and more than that, you're a nice person to hang out with. You're easy to talk to with considerate, and you're great at cooking. It's not at all surprising that Kosuke and Daigo are into you. Your classmates back at school must have been blind not to notice what a catch you are. Goodness me. Hiyori's cheek turns an adorable shade of pink, despite the wintry winds which toys with the hem of her coat and her choppy hair. Do you really think of that? Of course, I wouldn't say if I didn't. I concur. You're a very nice person, Hiyori. You're one of my best friends on this planet. I consider myself fortunate that I met you. Were my heart not wholly enraptured by my darling, I would probably fall in love with you myself. I think you're being too kind. But hearing that does make me feel better. Thank you. Anytime, isn't that what friends are for? You think I muse or walk alongside of my 2 companions, that there'd be more animosity between Anna and Hiyori, given they both have a thing for me, but I've never seen them argue once. Their relationship is remarkably cordial. Anna professes her fondness for Hiyori at all the time, and Hiyori is the only two happy to follow suit. I think it's nice that they're getting along so well. It makes spending time with the two of them doubly enjoyable. Don't you think? We continue to talk for several minutes more until we reach our first destination during the morning commute. We pause by a homey bakery called Melty Bread. It is an unusual name for a business, but who am I to judge? Its windows full of delicious looking cakes and pastries. It looks like we have arrived at my workplace. Thank you for escorting me as always. It is very good of you. You don't need to thank us. It's no big deal. This place is on the way to campus. It's not like we have to take any detours to get here. I'm aware, but I appreciate it all the same. You two are both so good to me. It's not hard being good to you, Anna. You're so cute. You look particularly adorable in your little maid outfit. Anna, as it happens, landed a job at this bakery a couple of weeks back. She was determined to contribute to my household finances after canvassing the streets of the wild. She was able to score herself a position at Melty Bread. Anna works from Mondays to Fridays during 30 hours where Hiyori and I are attending our university lectures. Anna is enrolled at university herself. I'm afraid the bus will be complicated by her status as a literal alien, so she can't attend any seminar or lecture as a proper student. I think that's another reason why she chose to get a job. It gives her something to do, beyond mooching about in the university library day in, day out. When her shift finishes up, Anna usually stops by the astronomy club room on campus to go stargazing with Hiyori and I. While she is a proper student or an official club member, I've come to regard her as one over the last few weeks. Anna is important of the astronomy club. Without her, the club would feel horribly lacking. She gazes at the stars with gusto, and she plays board games and eats Hiyori's famous hot pot with even greater enthusiasm. There's never a dull moment when Anna's around. Have a good day, alright? I'll see you later at the club room. Provided you feel like coming over. That should go without saying, Early. When do I ever pass up on an opportunity to spend time with you? I hope you two have a similar enjoyable day. May your studies be fruitful, and may you take a lot of useful notes. Well, I was planning to sleep through my first lecture of the day. He always smiles bashfully. But now you've cheered me on. I feel all fired up. I'm going to give it my all. Well, you better. You better. You should be doing that anyway, with or without Anna's support. Otherwise, what's the point in going to university at all? You got me here. Hiyori and I both waved goodbye to Anna. For the present, at least, then resume our commute once she entered the store. We talked together in silence for a while, our souls tapping out regular rhythm against the sidewalk. The wind is violently cold, but it feels so less when I'm with Hiyori. She glances at me, choppy with hair fluttering about her cheeks, and says, Anna's very sweet, isn't she? Oh, I don't think there's any doubt about that. She's so cheerful, it's almost frightening. Frightening, you say? Yeah, she's so smiley all the time. She seems oblivious to all of life's ills. She didn't even seem to realize how cold it was in our apartment, what with the busted heater and all, until she started coughing. Oh dear, I hope she hasn't come down with a cold. She seems fine enough. After having a warm shower, she hasn't been coughing since. I do worry about her, though. She pushes herself too hard. I don't know what happened to her if she did get ill. It's not like I'd be able to take her to the hospital. She looks like a human, but her inner workings might be totally different to ours. That's definitely a raise suspicious. Well, she seems alright for the present. It should be okay, but... Here he giggles. You must care about her a lot, to fuss over her so much. Well, of course I care. She'd be totally lost without me. You're not wrong about that. She's awfully crazy, but I think it's rather sweet. And you're sure you're not jealous? Not at all. Why would I be, when we all get along so well together? I don't begrudge Anna for taking up your time, not when being with her makes you so happy. Is that apparent? It is very apparent. You smile a lot more, you know, than you used to. You've become very expressive since you met Anna. I wanted my hands jammed deep in my pockets. Do I smile more now that Emma's around? I'm not sure. It's not like I pay constant attention to my reflection nor to the twitch of my muscles in my mouth. Hiyori does pay a lot of attention to me, though she's definitely my closest friend at university and the most aware of my emotions. If she thinks I've been smiling more, she must be right. I guess it tracks. I've been feeling happier since I met Anna. She's made my life so livelier simply by existing. I'm turning this over in my head, like a piece of beef over a grill at a Korean barbecue when... a high-pitched, distinctly feminine cry draws me out of my musings. I look around the streets for the source of the noise, my eyes wide. It doesn't take me very long to detect it either. Look there, Haru. Oh, that poor woman. Harry must have spotted what, or in this case who, caused the disturbance because she's pointed it out to me. Though not literally. Pointed under circumstances such as these would be pretty rude. Hiyori doesn't really need to tell me to look there. Though I'm looking already. Though looking might not be the most appropriate word. I know it's not very gentlemanly, but I can't stop myself from staring. What the heck? A woman sparkled on the sidewalk a few paces away from Hiyori and I, her legs spread in an ungainly manner. Her eyes are wide, her mouth agape, her face, though it's pale, is flushed cherry blossom pink with embarrassment. This woman's age is a mystery, but at the glance, I peg her to be a little older than Hiyori and I, and her mid to be late 20s or so. I don't know very much about women's clothes. My interests lie in the far-flung reaches of space. Not the kinds of glossy fashion magazines, but I even can tell this woman's wardrobe choices are stylish. She's clad in dark hues, from her charcoal cold sweater to her tight black skirt. Her long, shapely legs are encased in patterned pantyhose. Her long coat, which gapes open about her voluptuous chest, is lined with fur. Her feet are clad in a pair of very high, very precarious looking heels. Which, given how icy the streets are, thanks to the recent snowstorms we've been having, is probably how she ended up in so compromising the position. She must have fallen over. Oh, she didn't twist her ankle. Oh dear. The woman was just one hand rubbing her behind. Oof. That was really quite painful. How embarrassing. Her blushes turns deeper, still raising her head. Her gaze meets mine. She must have caught me staring. It'd probably be better for her pride if I walked on by, Hiyori and Toho pretending that I hadn't spied her, but that's no longer possible. I can't play dumb anymore. Now that it's come to this, I feel obliged to help her. What a pain. What an annoyance. I don't want to get involved in this, but oh well. Our eyes have met, so we gotta go to battle. Or something. I put my most winning smile, hoping to console the fallen woman, then approach her in my hand outstretched. Excuse me, miss, but are you alright? If you can't stand, you can take my hand, let me help you. No, it's fine, I can get up on my own. The woman persistently stubborn. Maybe she's too protected to accept help from somebody a lot younger than she is, but her attempt to stand of her own volition soon meets with failure. Ugh. That was the fine purchase on the slippery sidewalk. Her heels behind her hits the ground with yet another thud. Ow. Not the one in that woman's shoes. Thank goodness I'd never be able to walk in them. But her embarrassment is so palpable I can feel it. I'm starting to feel ashamed on being on her behalf. It doesn't help that given the spread of her legs and the shortness of her skirts, I can see her panties either. Not that I'm staring, of course. It's not my fault that I happened to catch a glimpse of a black wispy place during her second stumble. Oh dear, I can't believe this happened to me. I must look like such a fool. It's alright. I try to console the woman while forcibly moving my gaze up from her crotch to her face. There's no sense making her more embarrassed than she already is. We all fall over from time to time. None of us are impervious to it. It's particularly bad for it today. It's being so slippery. Are you sure? The woman's eyes bored to mine, seeking reassurance as a child might. You don't think I'm a fool, do you? No, I don't think. I might reconsider that, though, if you refuse to accept my help. I could get you back on your feet in no time. It really isn't any bother. The woman pulls a face as though she's just been into a lemon. Is it somewhat humiliating relying on a boy as young as you for aid? So that is what's bothering her? I figure as much, but it's nice to have it confirmed. But it is very slippery, and these shoes aren't at all practical. I want to make a good first impression during my job, so I dress up a bit. I suppose these clothes aren't suitable for the winter months, however. I hadn't counted on it being so cold in this country. It is such a bother, but I suppose this is not the weather's fault. I was short-sighted. I will admit my mistake for the present. And, the woman serviced me, her dark eyelashes fluttering. Her face, I noted, is carefully made up. Her highlights in black, her lashes artificially long, her cheeks have been adorned with white foundation, and her lips are outlined in purple. It is an interesting lipstick choice, but I think it suits this woman. It matches the lining of her coat. I mean, she looks a bit of like a fashion model. She's certainly pretty enough for it. I suppose it should be fine if I accept your help. Just this once. Thank you for being so considerate. It's no problem, really. I help the woman up, then, once I'm sure she won't stumble again, take a few steps back. Do you feel right now? Can you stand on your own? Yes, thank you. I'm just a bit shaken. You haven't hurt your ankle? I don't think so. The woman shifts on the spot, twisting her legs. Hither, I can't see any telltale sparks of pain flicker across her face, which seems to be a good omen. I don't seem to have any bruises either. Thank goodness. The only part of me which sustained any significant damage is my pride. I hope nobody else saw that. I think you're good. It's just me and Haru around here. Nobody else would have seen you. That is a relief. I suppose, though, I do wish you had not been there to witness my humiliation either. The woman sighs. Oh well, it could have been worse. I'm grateful you came to my aid, young man. Not that I really needed your help. Tsunari. There we go. That's what she is. I would have been just fine on my own, really. I am mature and responsible, though, after all. I am more than capable of looking after myself. Oh, really? Aren't you? Then why did you fall back there, then? The woman pouts her cheeks, puffed out, turns her nose in the air. She might have called herself a mature, responsible adult, but her current conduct isn't particularly grown up. There's quite a contrast between her and sophisticated appearance and her easily flustered nature. But I think that's pretty cute, you know? Now I shall leave. Take my leave. Please erase what you witnessed from your memories. You did not see me fall over. Do you understand? I don't think I will forget about that, but there's something interesting you got down there, and even up there as well. I would never do anything so inelegant. What? That never happened. She saw the Tsunari. So saying the woman marches off, her high heels strike against the sidewalk with a series of aggressive tops, like the advanced second hand of a clock. She wavers as she walks, makes that stops, and I worry she might stumble and fall again, but to my relief, she's able to keep her balance. It looks like one crisis has been averted. I'm relieved, but on the other hand, that was quite the interesting reaction. I watched the woman back, my hands bruised anew in my pockets as it recedes into the distance. She seemed appreciative, though enough at first, but then she acted so moody. I wish she didn't do anything to offend her. I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything, I promise. I doubt it. You acted just as good as a Samaritan should, Haru. I don't know. Would a good Samaritan use a woman's misfortune as an opportunity to take a peek at her panties? What? It's not like I was staring on purpose. At least I don't think I was. But I can't erase the image of her fully laced under her undergarments from my mind. Their image has been seared there as though by a brand iron. Did the woman see my eyes wander? I hope she doesn't think I'm some kind of pervert. Not that it matters, I suppose. I doubt I'll ever see her again. She was so pretty, though. And gothic, too. Yuri sighs wistfully. Her figure was to die for. She was so tall and willowy. I bet she could be a runaway model. Pretty plain and ordinary in comparison. I mean, obviously. I don't think I'll ever look at it like that, but it is strange. I have a vague feeling that I met her somewhere before. But that seems unlikely, that she didn't recognize me. I can't place where I might have seen her. Maybe she really is a model. You might have seen her in the magazine. Maybe. While Hiyori ponders, I extricate my phone from my pocket. I want to know what time it is. I'm acutely aware that my first lecture of the day starts soon and I don't want to be late for it. I'm an honor student. I always try to show up for my lectures early. Check my phone, tells me alas, I have only 10 minutes to hurry to campus or I'll break my perfect attendance streak. Crap! I groan. That debacle took me more time than I thought. We need to get going. Oh yes, that's a good point. I wouldn't even want to be late. Let's head off then. Right. I stashed my phone back into my pocket, and together Hiyori and I hastened through the streets. All thoughts of the mysterious woman, who may or may not have been a fashion model, evaporated from my mind during my trek. There are more important things to worry about in life. Pretty woman and their panties. And I think physics ranks chief among them. Kelsuke will probably say my priorities are messed up, and he might have a point, but we all have our passions, you know. Space will always be mine, no matter what happens. I'm nothing if I'm not devoted. I arrive on campus about 15 minutes later with Hiyori in tow. We say our farewells, then head to our respective departments to begin the day. Hiyori to the humanities block, I to the sciences. The sheer cold of the day slowed down my commute somewhat, and I'm a bit later arriving at my lectures hall than I usually be. My lecture started 5 minutes ago, and my fellow students are already there, warming their hands beneath their thighs, booting up their laptops. How embarrassing. I slink into my seat near the front of the lecture hall and glance up sheepishly at my lecturer. I can't help but feel guilty over my tardiness. Part of me thinks I should apologize, but that's probably why I got called a nerd back in high school, but oh, I blink taken aback when my eyes meet those of my lecturers. It's her! Oh my god. Multiverse theory. I was expecting the gray grizzled Professor Arata, but the person standing before the whiteboard at the front of the room couldn't be more different from him if they tried. For one thing, the person manning today's lecture isn't a man at all. She's a woman, a pretty hot one and thick. For another, she's a very young, stylish, undoubtedly good-looking woman. She cuts a fine figure of her charcoal gray high-neck sweater and her skin-tight pencil skirt. Her hair is dark, tied back in two buns, and her eyes are pale purple, fringed with black lashes. She holds a marker pen in one hand, her slender fingers curl deftly about it. I can see even from the distance that her nails are painted black to match her snugly fitting skirts. She wouldn't look at all out of place on a catwalk. She does look somewhat incongruous. However, in this lecture hall, it's not that I don't think women can be professors or anything, far from it. I'm not no chauvinist, but she's so different from Professor Arata, it throws me for a loop. This is quite the surprise, but no way. I'm not surprised. I'm more surprised to find that I recognize her. This is the clumsy woman I saw outside. Talk about a coincidence. Oh, the woman's eyes meet mine, and as they do, realization seems to dawn upon her own face. So she's recognized me. The last time I saw her, she was sprawled on the ground, her legs spread panties, and I was trying to not stare, but I still caught an eye full of black silk on display. I didn't think I'd see her grown again so suddenly, if at all. Well, this is awkward. The woman must have shared sentiments because of her face turned pink. Perturbed, she folds her arms across her chest and says in a concentrated voice, "It was so good of you to join us, Mr. Takagi Haru. Mr. Takagi, I trust you are one of the students enrolled at this institution." "Yes, that's right. Good. Now allow me to make my acquaintance again," she sighs. "Have you arrived sooner? I would have known to repeat myself. This is most vexing. It is rude to waste a lady's time, you know. My apologies. I'll try to be more conscious in the future, ma'am. See to it that you are. I know at the university you all are adults, but I have no desire to teach those who do not respect me." Ahem. The woman clears her throat, her eyes narrowing. "My name is Professor Sakai. Sakai? And I will be studying the Professor Arata for the rest of the semester. I might be young, Professor Arata, but I assure you I am perfectly competent in my field. You will find me strict disciplinary, but I am not. I think unfair. I only ask that you act basic, courteously, as befitting of grown men and women. Can you do that for me, Takagi?" "I'll do my best, ma'am." "You do better." Professor Sakai frowns. "You've done a little to endear me to you thus far, Takagi. You do not take me lightly because of my age. If you continue to irk me, I shall make you pay for it. Now enough of this unpleasantness." Professor Sakai tears her eyes away from mine, then swoops her gaze across that of the class. "Time is wasting on, and we have a good deal to cover. Let us begin with this morning's lecture. If you have any questions, you may ask them at the end. I do not appreciate being interrupted." Professor Sakai's gaze is cold one, which serves only to affirm my words. She might be beautiful, but it's in an icy, unapproachable way. Is she really the same woman I met earlier today, lying in an undignous heap on the ground? She's comforting herself so differently, I'm really beginning to wonder. Part of me wishes she isn't the same woman, even though she obviously is. Because our earlier interaction was so awkward, I can't stop about thinking about her underwear. I can't say that I ever had a problem with what Professor Arata was teaching me. Today was really been full of tribulations, and it's not even midday yet. Will I be able to make it to the end of the day unscathed? Hopefully, Professor Sakai's lecture eventually comes to a close, and when it does, I hurry to quit the lecture hall. I'm halfway to the door when a voice calls to me, making me pause. "Excuse me, Mr. Takai, but may I have a word? There is something I wish to discuss with you." "What? Oh, she's probably thinking about me in her panties again." I hang back, frown, my fingers curled about the strap of my messenger bag, and glance to the podium at the front of the lecture hall. Professor Sakai is standing there. Tall, striking, in her dark interior, her arms folded beneath her chest. Her face is pale from foundation, but I can see beneath the makeup that daubs it the beginning of the blush. Perhaps she's thinking about the events which transpired this morning, which slip out in the middle of the street. I'm no fortune teller. I don't believe in unscientific stuff like that, but I bet that's what she'll want to discuss. "Yes, ma'am, is there something the matter?" "Yes, there is something the matter." "Oh boy." Professor Sakai replies terse one. Her lips are pressed together, and she doesn't look at all amused. Stiffly, or perhaps shyly, she's glanced about the lecture hall. She waits for the last one of the students have left, tapping her fingers against the inside of her arm until she looks to me once more. "I wish to talk to you about Here, Professor Sakai clears her throat. She's trying to look unconcerned, but with every passing second, her blush seems to glow more and more pronounced. Not even her pale makeup can hide it. Is she too old to blush like that? That's kind of cute. It's pretty cute, actually. But maybe, I think guiltily. That's not a word I should use in conjunction with an adult woman. I don't know how old Professor Sakai is precisely, but as she's a university lecturer, she must be in her late 20s at the very least. Is she 28? 29? She could be 30 though. She doesn't look that old. I want to talk to you about the incident which occurred this morning during my commute to work. Aha, so that is what this is about. I figured as much. It took Professor Sakai a while to spit it out. I guess she really was embarrassed, but it doesn't come as any surprise. I was wondering how I would respond in the face of Professor Sakai's evident abashment. Would playing dumb be the best way to spare her smarting pride? I can only give it a go. What incident are you referring to, ma'am? I don't remember anything. Oh, you know, when I made a fool of myself in the street. I presume it would have stuck in your mind given I looked so idiotic. My behavior was not at all dignified. I'm afraid I have no idea what you're talking about. Ma'am, if you did make a fool of yourself, which I find hard to believe, that I saw nothing of sorts. Huh? Perplexed, Professor Sakai blinks at me. Did you truly not see anything? Are you being quite honest with me? Well, maybe I did have chance upon a woman in a state of distress earlier. Yeah. Professor Sakai's face turns redder still, but I'd rather not dwell on that. You've nothing to worry about. I'm not going to tell anybody what happened. Really? Do you promise? I promise. I don't like gossiping. I think it's tedious, and besides, I wouldn't stand to gain anything from it. You could always use that story to blackmail me if you desired so. Blackmail you? I raised an eyebrow. Into what? Oh, you know, all sorts of inappropriate things. It simply wouldn't do, if my students learn how clumsy I am. This is my first time in an institution as prestigious as this is, and I want to make a good first impression. One's reputation is a very, very important thing. It cannot be taken lightly if my students fail to respect me. I will be left with nothing. That is why I need to take great pains to safeguard how others see me. Wow, she's really getting worked up about this. I thought her face was flushed over before, but now it's positively puny. She did a good job keeping up cool, undisturbed demeanor during her lecture, but now I'm talking to her one-to-one. I can tell she's something of a warrior. There's a big gap between her stylish appearance and her anxious flights of fancy. I'm starting to feel pretty bad for her, like I did when I saw her trip outside. I guess I should offer her some words of reassurance. If you're worried, ma'am, you wouldn't need be. I won't breathe a word of what happened to anybody. Your secret is safe with me. Really? Are you sure you don't want to use this as an opportunity to take advantage of me? What? For the sake of your silence, you could ask me to do any number of unspeakable things. I'm your dad, and so you would have no choice but to comply. I've read about such scenes in certain stories. They tend to get rather spicy. No, it's fine. You really don't need to worry. I'm not going to use this against you, and I'm not going to demand any kind of payment for my silence. It's not that scummy. I'm not that scummy. You can trust me. Just like I turned knows how in response to scenery. Her arms full. She doesn't look as complicated as I hoped. If anything, she seems annoyed. I didn't say anything to upset her, did I? Being indebted to one of my students is horribly shameful, particularly given to this. This is my first day on the job. This is most vexing, but well, I suppose I should consider myself fortunate, but it was you who discovered me. It seems, despite my initial concerns, you really are a nice man. I did my best, I guess, and it has worked. I am most appreciated, Mr. Takagi. Not that this means I'm going to perform any special favors for you or anything. Too soon. Like I said, you don't have to. I'm not expecting that. Well, good. Don't expect anything from me. It's not like I wanted you to use this as a pretext for bossing me around or anything. But you did say it earlier, though. What? Come on, man. I'm not that desperate at all. Not at all. You are at first. We're at the beginning. Come on. I never said you were. Good now. Professor Sakai plants both her hands on her hips. I believe our conversation is done. Run along, Mr. Takagi. I don't breathe a word about this to anybody. When I promise, I'll see you later, man. Jeez, why are you so bossy around so much? What a bitch. My lectures and seminars finish several hours later, and once they do, I make my way over to the astronomy club room. It's around 17:30, which means the sun should set in an hour. Fuck, I don't even know this military time. It's like, what, something 30, like 5:30, 6:30. Till then, however, the last vestiges of sunlight can be seen about the campus, illuminating the glass windows inlaid into the scattered buildings. I stepped into the old-fashioned beaten down, out of the way wing where all the less popular clubs are located to take the 2 flights of stairs to the 3rd floor. The wooden steps creak whirring beneath my weight and banisters falls beneath my fingers. One of these days, I'm afraid I'll go plumb straight through the steep stairs to the ground below. This building is a health and safety inspector's worst nightmare. I'm surprised nobody sustained any serious injuries here before, unless they have any universities hush it up. This place is a total death trap. The actual astronomy club room remains as homey as ever. The wooden floor lends it a wistfully old-fashioned vibe as it does the battered coach. The family posters taped to the walls greets me, displaying space and all of its wonders in cheerfully bright colors. The scent of green tea permeates the room, making my nostrils twitch. Was Hiyori brewing the kettle before I arrive? I glance about my surroundings, smiling, and soon look at Hiyori herself alongside Enna. I guess Enna must have finished her shift at the bakery already. Enna is sitting on the couch. Hiyori is kneeling behind her. Hiyori is holding an airbrush in one hand, which she carefully runs through Anna's pale green tresses. Anna herself is smiling. Her arms are wound about her legs. It looks like she's doing her best to keep still, but like a little kid, she can't help but glance up when I enter the room. Darling, it's good to see you, Hiyori, and I will wait for you. Isn't that right? Oh yes, you took your time. I finished my last lectures about an hour ago. Sorry about that. Money's always running late for me. I dropped my messenger bag to the ground and I thought to take a seat up on the couch, folding one leg over the other. I tilt my head askance and say, you look like two been keeping busy, though without company. Are you practicing to be a hairdresser, Hiyori? Oh no, I'm nowhere near good enough with my hands. I just thought I would experiment with some new hairstyles for Enna while we were waiting for you to put it in appearance. She has such long, lovely hair, and it feels incredibly soft. You should try touching it yourself. It's addictive. Yes, why don't you try it, darling? You can run your hands through my hair as much as you like. Oh no, it's fine. I don't want to get it tangled. It's alright if that does happen, you can always unpick the knots. I trust you, darling. You might, but I don't know if I do. I don't know anything about hair, particularly not a long hair like yours. I tend to keep mine short in case you hadn't noticed. Have you considered growing it out? Some women are into long-haired guys. Not really. Sounds like it'd be a pain to upkeep, and I don't think I'm handsome enough to pull it off. Now, Hiyori pouts. That's simply true. I think you're plenty handsome, Haru. Me too, me too. There are many attractive humanoid men out there, but none can compare to you. That is why you are my darling and nobody else. You say that, but you always squeal over that one guy from that visual K group whenever he appears in those magazines you like reading. Oh my. And a bachelor eyelashes at me, a cool smile upon her face. Are you jealous, darling? Not really. I'm just pointing it out. I know as far as looks go, I can't compete with that guy. You don't need to compete with him because you are my darling and Takuto is not. I think he's aesthetically pleasing. Yes, but I doubt he would be half so kind and humble as you are. Oh, are you talking about the Takuto from Demon Kiss? I think he's pretty handsome too, though Ren is more my type. Hiyori and Anna started chattering about this band while Hiyori continues to brush out Anna's hair. Anna's hair is already long and straight, but it seems to glow beneath the bright bristles of Hiyori's brush. I'm content to simply watch them from the couch as they talk. It's nice that they have so much in common, despite Anna being an alien and Hiyori being a human. I guess it goes to show that no matter where two people are from, it's always possible to find common ground. Hiyori and Anna have grown so close during so short in the space-time, they reminded me of sisters. Alright, I think I'm done for now. Hiyori eventually announces after examining Anna's hair. I'm afraid if I keep brushing, your hair will stick up from the static and my arm is starting to hurt. You really do have a lot of hair, Anna. I know, it's my pride and joy. It used to be longer, actually, when I was smaller. Really? Oh yes, I had so much of it. I could sit on it. I look just like that girl from that fairy story you Earthlings like so much. The one locked away in a tower by a wicked witch. What? What kind of a fairy you talking about? Like what? I forgot her name though from Disney though. Tinkerbell? I don't know. Could be it. I like having such a great deal of hair, but it really was unmanageable. It used to get caught in doors all the time. Once we tied to its bedpost while I was asleep. That's a practical joke. But she ties it so tightly, I had to be cut free. My parents were very angry at Revi. They even threatened to fire her, though I argued on her behalf. I knew she didn't mean any harm by it. It was just a prank. Revi? I frowned. Who's that, one of your friends back at Corporal? Oh, you don't know her? Haven't I mentioned her before? Revi was one of my mates. She used to look after me, but yes, she was also my friend. She was my best friend. In fact, we got up to all sorts of mischief together. I wonder what she's doing now. Missing you in all likelihood. Didn't you tell her you were leaving Corporal? I couldn't tell anybody. I was afraid if anybody at the palace knew all my plans, they would tell my parents and I would never be able to escape. I do miss Revi a good deal, but a shadow crosses Anna's face, but it lingers for only a few moments. Soon another smile comes, managing for a brief bout of sadness. I'm happy enough here on this planet. I love spending time with you, Hiyori, and especially enjoying spending time with my darling. I have no reason to be sad, none at all. Now, why don't we help ourselves with some green tea? Hiyori has been brewing it for your arrival, Haru. Ah, so it was green tea I smelled earlier. I thought I recognized that aroma. We could all partake in the cup of delicious hot leaf water to warm us up, and then we could go to the roof once the sun sets. I have been anticipating tonight's stargazing session since I woke this morning. My, somebody's eager. Hiyori giggles. You're not even an official member of our club, but you're putting Haru and I to shame. Oh no, I wouldn't let anybody bash me. I've been passionate about the stars even ever since I was a little kid. You might come from space, Anna, but your enthusiasm no match for me. Really? Anna grins. Maybe we should make a competition for it then. Let us see who can identify the most Costellas during tonight's club activities. The loser has to buy the winner a week worth of pudding from the convenience store on the way home. How does that sound? Oh, bring it on. This will be a cinch. I just hope you've been saving up your money, Anna, because you'll be serious short of cash once the day comes to a close. There's no way you'll be able to best me. Well, we'll just see about that. You might be my darling, but I won't go easy on you. Not when there's pudding on the line. I got something more important than putting at stake here. My pride as an astrologer won't let me lose. Yes, do your best, you two. I'll be cheering you on. Now, why don't we have some tea? Here hands Anna some green tea, then I sit back beside us on the couch with her own cup. She sighs as she ingests it, her cheeks pinking from its warmth. It's very smoothing. Wouldn't you two agree? Indeed, I would. Your tea is always delicious, Hiyori. Why, thank you. These leaves are rather fancy blend my parents sent me. I don't know how much they cost, but I bet they're a luxury brand. My parents have no qualms when it comes to splashing about enormous sums of money. They've always thought it on you, haven't they? They don't skimp on their affections, no, but it does make me wonder if it feels like they're overcoming compensating. But perhaps I'm thinking about it too much. Hira breaks her teacup lips, and then takes another sip of fancy green tea blend her parents sent her. I fall asleep by sipping my own tea. True Anna's early exclamations and Hira's sight. The tea does taste good. If I had to describe it, I say it tastes like a hug distilled into her purest components. It's chilly in the strawberry room club, but the cup of tea in my hands, not to mention after the aftertaste of said tea on my tongue, it stalled me out nicely. The three of us drank, talking companionably, all while as the sun sets. Alright everybody, that is the end of today's video. A long episode of part 1 of Sakura's Alien 2. So thank you everybody for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Check out my social media links down in the description. And I'll see you guys in the next one.